The words hit me like a slap across the face. My sister Rachel's voice rang out clear and mean across the backyard. Laughter erupted everywhere. Loud, cruel, confident. My name is Grace Anderson. I'm 27 years old. And that moment under the afternoon sun was the last time I let anyone treat me like a joke. Rachel stood there like a queen showing off her new diamond bracelet, the kind that sparkles in the sunlight, the kind that costs more than most people make in a month. Mom giggled behind her hand. Dad rolled his eyes but smiled anyway, like Rachel had said something clever. My brother Daniel nearly choked on his soda laughing. Even the neighbors who'd been invited joined in the fun. I was holding a plastic container of potato salad. Homemade. Simple. The only thing I told them I could afford. But that was a lie. A big one. I set the container down gentle and slow. Then I picked up my paper cup. Filled with warm lemonade. I looked Rachel straight in the eyes and said loud enough for every single person to hear. Here's to Rachel, whose credit cards I've been paying off for 3 years. All $47,000 worth. The laughter died. Instantly. Like someone had sucked all the air out of the yard. A bird chirped in the tree above us. Someone's music was playing faint in the distance. Rachel's face drained of color. All the blood just left. Mom gasped so loud it echoed. Dad's beer can froze halfway to his mouth. Daniel's smile melted like ice cream on hot pavement. You're lying, Rachel hissed, but her voice shook. She knew I wasn't lying. Am I said calmly. Should I show everyone the bank statements, the payment confirmations, the late-night calls when you were crying about collections? Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. I finished my lemonade, crushed the cup in my hand, dropped it in the trash, and walked straight to my car without looking back. My legs felt strong. My head felt clear. They'd been laughing at me for years while I'd been saving them from ruin. Today the truth came out, and it felt like freedom. Have you ever been disrespected by the very people you were secretly saving? Comment below and let me know. I need to hear I'm not crazy for feeling this way. 5 days of silence passed. Then the calls started flooding in. Mom first, always Mom. Grace, sweetie, families stick together through thick and thin, you know that, right? Her voice was sugar sweet, but I could taste the desperation underneath. I texted back quick and cold. Then stick with Rachel, she needs you now. Brother Daniel called 2 hours later. Yo, Grace, that was harsh. You made Rachel cry for like 2 days straight. Good, I said. Maybe tears will teach her what my money couldn't. He hung up, didn't even say goodbye. For 3 whole years, I'd been their invisible safety net. They mocked my second-hand furniture. They laughed at my beat-up Honda. They made jokes about my discount shoes. But they WORSHIPPED my bank account. When the money kept coming, they loved me in secret. When I stopped, they hated me in public. That night I made myself dinner. Chicken and rice. Simple, just enough for 1 plate, no extras. No planning for surprise visits from family members who'd show up hungry with empty promises. The kitchen was peaceful, quiet in a good way, not empty, just mine. Then my phone lit up with a notification I'd completely forgotten about. Payment processed, $925. Credit card minimum payment for Rachel Anderson. My stomach dropped. The automatic payment. I'd set it up 2 years ago when Rachel was sobbing about ruining her credit score. It was still running, still pulling money out of my account like a slow leak draining my life. I snatched my laptop off the counter, logged into my bank faster than I'd ever moved, found the recurring payments section. There it was, $925 every single month, for 24 months. That's over $22,000 just in minimums. I clicked cancel payment so hard my finger hurt. A warning box appeared. Canceling may affect the recipient's account. Continue? I clicked yes without hesitation, without guilt, without fear. Done, finished, over, no more automatic rescues while they called me broke behind my back. Within an hour, my phone started blowing up. Text messages, voicemails, missed calls, 17 in total. Aunt Linda called first. Gracie, honey, I heard Rachel's credit card got declined at the grocery store today. Do you know anything about that? Her voice was fishing for gossip disguised as concern. Sounds like she needs to check her bank account, I said sweetly. Not mine. By midnight, the family group chat was on fire. 38 messages. People I hadn't heard from in MONTHS suddenly cared about family unity. Rachel posted on Instagram, a black square. Caption, betrayal comes from those closest to you. 300 likes, 50 comments of support. People calling me names who didn't even know the full story. I was the villain now, the cruel sister, the heartless daughter. They erased every midnight transfer, every panicked payment, every time I said yes when I wanted to scream no. When I was helping in the shadows, I was forgotten. When I stopped, I became the monster. I sat on my tiny balcony that night. One chair, one view of the parking lot, one me, no crowd, no performance, no applause. The streetlight buzzed above, casting orange light on everything. I thought about Rachel's birthday last year, how I'd bought her that expensive perfume she wanted. She'd hugged me and said, "You're the best." Then 2 weeks later, she'd borrowed $500 and never mentioned it again. I grabbed a journal from inside, drew 2 columns. Left side, money I gave them. Right side, times they appreciated me. The left side filled 3 pages, dates, amounts, reasons. The right side had 4 entries, 4 in 3 years, and 2 of those were just text messages that said "thanks sis" with no emoji. I ripped out that page, stared at it. Then I wrote 3 new rules on a fresh sheet. Rule 1, my money is my future, not their comfort. Rule 2, respect costs nothing. If they can't give it, they don't deserve my help. Rule 3, never explain boundaries to people who benefit from me having none. My phone buzzed. Rachel. I need $300 for rent. Please, Grace, I'm desperate. I typed 2 letters. No. Then I blocked her number. The silence that followed was beautiful, like the first quiet morning after a storm. Have you ever cut off someone who only called when they needed money? Comment 1 if you kept giving. Comment 2 if you finally stopped and never looked back. 5 weeks went by, slow weeks, healing weeks. Then I did something bold. I texted the family group chat. Family picnic, Saturday, 2 p.m., same park, be there. I arrived an hour early, set up 1 table, no decorations, no balloons, just sandwiches wrapped in paper, bottles of water, and 3 manila folders. Rachel showed up late, walking slow like she was going to her own funeral. Wearing jeans and a plain shirt, no designer anything. Mom came next looking tired, older somehow. Dad trudged behind carrying a lawn chair and regret on his face. They all looked at the table, confused, disappointed maybe. "Where's the food?" Mom asked carefully. "This is the food," I said. "Sit down." They sat, I stood. The sun was high and hot. I slid a folder in front of Rachel. "Open it." Another to Mom. "You too." The last one to Dad. "All of you." They opened them at the same time. Inside were employment applictions, hotel, retail, restaurants. Each one had a sticky note with a name and phone number. Managers I'd spoken to personally. Rachel's eyes went huge, then angry. "A waitress? You want me to be a waitress?" Mom's voice cracked. "Grace, this is insulting. We're your family." Dad just stared at the papers like they were written in another language. "This is help," I said firmly. "Real help." "Real help is money," Rachel snapped. "Real help is showing you how to make your own money," I shot back. "So you never have to beg me again." Mom stood up fast, her chair tipped backward. "You don't do this to people you love." "You did it to me," I said. My voice didn't shake. "For 3 years, you just called it teasing." Dad picked up his folder slowly. His hands weren't steady. "These jobs, they really available?" "Yes," I said. "I called everyone on that list. They're waiting for applications this week." He nodded, once, heavy, like he was agreeing to something he'd been avoiding his whole life. Rachel threw her folder on the table, papers scattered in the breeze. "What if I fail? What if I can't do this?" "Then you get up and try again," I said. "But you do it on your strength, not my bank account." The air changed, not warmer, just clearer, more honest. Mom picked up her folder again, read through it carefully this time. "You really made these calls for us?" "Every single one," I said. They packed up their things. Quiet, thoughtful, slower than they'd arrived, doors closed softly. Engines started without anger. They drove away. I stayed, ate my sandwich, drank my water, watched kids playing on the swings. The world didn't end because I set boundaries. It kept spinning. When I stood to leave, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Interview Monday morning. Don't expect me to thank you." I smiled, didn't reply. Growth doesn't need an audience. 12 days later, an email appeared. "Congratulations, Rachel Anderson. Your application for front desk associate has been accepted. Orientation starts Thursday." I read it 4 times. She'd done it. No call, no text, just action. And somehow that meant more than any thank you ever could. Dad reached out a week later, voice quiet, almost shy. "That warehouse position, still open." I forwarded him the contact information. No speech, no lecture, just the tools. 3 days later, a picture showed up on my phone. Dad in a bright yellow safety vest, hard hat, big smile. Caption, "First day, first real paycheck in years." Mom's message came at night. Screenshot of a work schedule. Bakery counter associate Linda Anderson. No explanation needed, just proof. The family group chat transformed. Shorter messages, normal topics, weather, recipes, TV shows, no emergencies, no begging, just people living their lives. I cooked pasta with my boyfriend Marcus one evening. We danced in the kitchen while the water boiled. "You're different now," Marcus said. "Lighter, like you dropped something heavy." "I dropped everything that wasn't mine to carry," I said. He hugged me tight. "Just don't build walls so high I can't reach you." I understood. Boundaries saved me, but they can't trap me either. We planned a vacation, just us. No phone calls, no rescues, no drama, just peace. Some cousin posted something online, vague and shady. "Blood doesn't mean you can treat people like ATMs." Clearly about me. Comments filled with agreement and heart emojis. I didn't respond, didn't defend myself. Let them tell their story, I was living mine. Rachel texted late one night. "Got my first paycheck, it's mine, I earned it keeping this job." Not a thank you. But that raw honesty was worth more than gratitude. Dad called on payday, voice bright. "Got paid today, feels different, feels real." "Keep at it," I said, and he did. Mom invited me to volunteer at a community center. Not asking for money, asking for MY time. We sorted donations together, talked about regular things, laughed about old memories. Good ones, not the painful ones. That Sunday I returned to the park. Brought a blanket. Sat under the same tree where everything had changed. Marcus brought sandwiches and iced tea. We watched clouds drift lazy across the blue sky. "Does this feel like winning?" he asked. "It feels like living," I said. He kissed my hand. "Then never stop choosing this." That night my apartment felt different. The bills, the space, the silence, everything matched. No hidden payments, no secret sacrifices, just MY life, lived on MYTERMS. I found that paper cup from the picnic, washed it, kept it on my shelf. A reminder that boundaries aren't cruel, they're necessary. I watered my plants, checked my accounts, everything was balanced, actually balanced. For the first time in 3 years, my money was going to MY future, not their comfort. They stopped needing my wallet. I stopped needing their approval. And somehow we became more like a real family, not perfect, but honest. True family doesn't drain you dry, it lifts you up. Have you ever had to choose yourself over everyone else's expectations? If this story spoke to your soul, smash that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Revenge Voice for more stories of people who finally took back their power. Drop a comment and tell me what you would have done at that picnic. Your support keeps these stories coming, and I read every single comment. Thank you for watching. Now go set some boundaries of your own.